story coming through from the ANC. I'm joined by the Umkhonto Wesizwe Military Veterans Association, MKMVA President Kebby Maphatswe, as well as Xolani Dube from the Zubeira Institute, political analyst in KwaZulu-Natal. Let me start with you, Kebby Maphatswe. So the decision finally coming through from the Integrity Commission and basically using the National Executive Committee's own words in a previous resolution about the importance of remaining true to the resolutions of the ANC from the Nasrec conference of 2017, and in that line basically saying that act as you said you would, and the Secretary General should step aside. What is your reaction as the MKMVA?
Thank you, sir, and your viewers. As MKMVA, we are really disappointed with the decision, the recommendation, in fact, was not a decision by the Integrity Commission. We have been raising our concerns as MKMVA. We even wrote a letter to the officials that the composition of the Integrity Commission has got people who belong to factions, in particular those who are from the MKMVA and by the name of retired General Len Rasakhatla and James Mulu, who are vehemently opposed to MKMVA. And you are aware during the week that you gave their spokesperson, Ike Mure, airtime to lash on the Secretary General. So they influence the decision within the Integrity Commission. So they've tainted the outcome of that important commission. If they have listened to us, that let them postpone first this thing, deal with those comrades that were complaining about in the commission, that they are factional on themselves. They have aired out their position that they want Ace Magashule out. So Comrade Ace has never enjoyed his position since his election in 2017 from Nasrec.
I hear what you're saying, what your complaints are about the disposition of some members of the Integrity Commission in relation to your association, the MKMVA. But I'm asking, how does that taint their carrying out of their duties, which they are mandated to carry out by the ANC's own rules and constitution, as well as conference resolutions, as they relate to Ace Magashule?
To belong to the Integrity Commission, you must be above reproach. So those two comrades are not above reproach, they are factional. So we know that for a fact that last time they complained about Comrade Tony Ngeni because he was running the process correct. Now we are saying they have tainted the integrity, they are not above reproach, they are factional. So whatever inputs they are making in the Integrity Commission are not above reproach or impartial, they are partial. Secondly, there are people who suffer from selective amnesia. The resolution of Nasrec, of expropriation of land without compensation, it was raw like that. But the ANC, after that, it said this resolution needs to be reviewed and say how it can be best implemented, that it does not affect the food security. So with this one, the NEC mandated the national office bearers to go and look at the resolution to say how best it can be implemented. Even in their resolution, the recommendation, the Integrity Commission, they are saying this should be implemented if the national office bearers have not yet adopted or come up with the guidelines of how this resolution should be adopted. So I'm saying people must not be selective in when we're saying the resolution is a resolution of the conference, yes, but for the implementation part, the ANC normally looks at the risks of that resolution. So this decision must be open, is that it is going to divide the ANC more or tear it apart. And that is why Oliver Tambo said, and I quote, there is no one who will destroy the ANC from outside. The ANC will be destroyed from within.
So what are you saying then? What should the NEC do? What should Ace Magashule do? And what should the NEC do? The Integrity Commission report records Ace Magashule's position as saying that he would step aside if so instructed by the NEC. So what should the NEC do? What should Ace Magashule do in light of this report?
Look, I have mentioned that the NEC themselves, they have said the national office bearers, they must develop guidelines on how best can they implement this resolution. And that the Integrity Commission themselves, they are mentioning it in their report, that if the national office bearers have not yet implemented that resolution, maybe they should have waited for the officials to hear whether they have developed the guidelines or not on how this resolution should be implemented. Because now they have decided, and the officials have not come back to the NEC with the guidelines of implementing this resolution of the conference.
But that's no hurdle, though, Mr. Maphadzwe, is it? Because even from the passage that you quote, it's in black and white, it's right in front of you, that from the NEC resolution of the 6th to the 8th of August 2020, in the event that those guidelines and procedures have not been developed by the national officials, the top 6 leadership and the National Working Committee, in those cases, in that instance, where this has not happened, such individuals will be instructed to step aside. So there's no bar from the NEC instructing the Secretary General to step aside simply because the guidelines and procedures have not been worked out by the national officials.
Remember, the Integrity Commission, it does not take decisions. It recommends to the NEC. So this matter needs to serve before the National Executive Committee of the ANC. So it can be that a recommendation is now implemented. That is why I was saying there was an NEC just last week. The officials, they might be sitting down, developing guidelines and going to present to the National Working Committee and to the NEC. So that they've rushed to take a decision and announce it publicly. It is affecting the work of the national office bearers and the NEC on how best can this resolution be implemented.
Should Ace Magashule step aside or should he not?
Look, I have said from the beginning that since his election in Nasrec, there have been people who have been looking for him.
Sure, I get that. But before I run out of time, what's your definitive position as the MKMVA? Should he step aside or should he not?
He should not step aside up until those resolutions of the NEC that the national office bearers should come out with the guidelines, the NWC, and up to the NEC. He remains the NEC member and the Secretary General of the ANC. Equally so, he was elected at the conference of the ANC by the branches of the ANC.
All right, thank you for that. That's the MKMVA's Kebi Maphadzwe. He's the president of the Umkhonto weSizwe Military Veterans Association in the ANC. Their position being that Ace Magashule should not step aside, at least until the national officials carry out the task of coming up with guidelines and procedures on how to implement this resolution around members who are tainted in corruption stepping aside. It's a task that was handed over to the national officials, that's the top 6 leaders of the ANC, which it would seem they've not carried it out.